Hosanna. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of Friday Night Hangout. Woo! I'm excited to be with us here tonight. This is our 213th episode, and I'm really so grateful. So, welcome. My name is Joy Onyesoh. I'm a transformational coach, and I'm super excited to be the convener, the host of Friday Night Hangout. And this is our very first episode in March. You know why I'm excited? Because March is a Women's Month. But before we go right into that, I want to know where you are joining us from. So please use the comment section, put in where you're joining us in from, and don't forget to put TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. And if today is your first time of joining us at the Friday Night Hangout, I just want to say a very big welcome. Welcome to the Friday Night Hangout. The Friday Night Hangout is a platform where we have safe, frank conversations on topical issues. We share strategies, tools that can help you to build your personal or business brand, or even your professional brand. So if you're here, it's not a mistake. This is the right space to be in, and I'm just welcoming you into the program. Tonight, we're going to have a very interesting conversation. Yes, I see you, TGIF. Thank you so much. Keep it coming in. Tonight, we're going to have a very critical conversation that I know is going to help you in this new month and also for the rest of the year. So, we're going to be talking about, building habits and routines that can support goal achievement, right? Yes, because I know a number of us have goals we set out for the year, for the month, for the first quarter, you know, for the half the year. So we consistently set goals for ourselves. But what if I tell you that the key to, achieving your goals lies in the smallest, most mundane actions that you take every day? Yeah. The key to achieving your goals lies in the smallest, most mundane actions that you take every day. What if I tell you that? Well, sit tight. We're going to have that conversation, and you're going to see how taking consistent actions would either move you towards your goal or distract you from your goal. It's more about the small things you do on a consistent basis. If you want to achieve your goal, then you need to pay attention to those things you do, those things you think do not matter, those things you think are just too small. But listen, if you do them every day, they become a major determinant of whether you're going to achieve your goals or whether you're going to be distracted from achieving your goals. Once again, welcome, welcome. There is something else special happening in this month of March. Now, globally, the month of March is recognized as the Women's Month. Yay! So, if you're a woman, if you're a girl, even if you're a man, a boy, yeah, you need to celebrate this International Women's Month because you have mothers, you have sisters. So even if you're male, you have women around you. And this month of March, we globally, designate it for celebrating women, for looking at all the achievements we've, made as women, and also for exploring some of the challenges we have and ways of closing the gap. And very specifically, tomorrow, being Saturday, the 8th of March, is the International Women's Day. Wow. So, what plans do you have to celebrate that woman in your life? Be it your sister, your wife, your mother, your auntie, whoever it is as a woman. So, what plans do you have to celebrate her tomorrow? So, tomorrow is the specific day for that woman. But throughout the month of March, of course, we're going to be celebrating women. We're going to be looking at issues as it pertains to women and how we can support women better, how we can empower women all around the world. And let me tell you something, like I said when I started off, that, the key to achieving goals lies in the smallest, most mundane tasks or actions you take every day. The key to empowering women, the key to create an enabling environment for women lies in that smallest thing we do every day, those actions we take that we think do not matter. So, this is to tell you that whatever you do in your space that you think is a little space contributes to the bigger picture. So don't take your space for granted and don't look down on your space at all. Your space is so important because it contributes to the bigger space. Now, while we're at it, and I mean at celebrating the International Women's Month and Day, we at Joy Onyesoh's Coaching Consult, right? We are determined to reaffirm our commitment to women's empowerment. So, from the actions we take within the organization to creating safe spaces for women to work in as team members, and to also supporting women who run various endeavors, who are leaders, who are women entrepreneurs, who are women professionals in the different things that they do, making sure that our coaching structure supports what they do. And so tonight we have three very special women we want to recognize for the International Women's Day because they are doing a lot of things in their own spaces. I'm hoping that we've been able to sort out the technical issue from our end and we can play the video. So once the video is up, I would pause and then we can just jointly celebrate these amazing women who, despite the barriers, despite the odds, doing amazing things in their own spaces. So while we're waiting for that video to come on, we'll dive right into the conversation. And like I said, when you come in, just put the TGIF. I want to know where you're joining in from. And also, please, can you use Happy IWD? Thank you so much for doing that. Happy International Women's Day. The International Women's Day is tomorrow. Now, I'm going to be discussing with us on the power of building routines and habits that supports goal achievement. So if you're here and you're committed to achieving your goals, then you want to listen. You want to reflect on the conversations we're going to have tonight. And you also want to be proactive in moving forward with some of the maybe aha moments or the revalidation moments, or perhaps you've been sitting on something for too long. My hope is that the conversation tonight would give you the inspiration to just jump in and do what you need to get done. So let's start off from looking at, what routine is and then what habits are, so that we can, place them properly in the conversation. Okay, so I think maybe we've sorted out the video and it will come on live anytime from now. When it does, just stay with us and I'll be right back. But before then, we'll continue the conversation. So when we talk about routine, we say, oh, I do this as a matter of routine. What are we talking about? We're talking about series of actions that you perform every day or perhaps regularly, right? So the series of actions that you perform regularly is what is referred to as a routine. What are some examples of routine that you can think of in your life? For instance, for those who brush morning and night, that is a routine. You can't wake up in the morning without brushing your mouth and then before you have breakfast, or you can't go to bed at night without brushing your mouth. So that also is a routine. And then maybe for someone is that you have this routine that every morning 7 to 8 a.m you must write down some things. You write down your reflections or you meditate. So all those things, those actions that you do on a regular basis, that is what we refer to as routine. And the conversation is that you need to watch those routines, because those routines can either help you in achieving your goals or they distract you from achieving your goals. Now, what about habits? Now, habits are our automatic responses to very specific situations. So these are things that you just do automatically because they are stored up somewhere in your subconscious. So they are part of you and you just do them. You react to certain situations, right? So when this happens, you know that these are things you have built over time. So habits are built over time. Some of these things we internalize from value systems, and then we form values, we form a habit, and then we run with those habits. So when people say, oh, this is how I am, just take me like that, they're referring to certain habits that they know, it's not serving them, and they're hesitant to break those habits. But tonight, after the conversation tonight, I'm very sure that you'd take, some moments to reflect on some of the routines and habits that you consistently do, and look at ways of either revalidating them, strengthening them, or letting them go if you find out that they are not serving you. Okay, so how powerful are habits and routines? Now, science has it that there are habits, what we do on a regular basis, our automatic reaction to specific situations, are stored at our basal ganglia, So that is what responds to things. That is what triggers our response, our automatic response when things happen. Now, if that being said, does it mean that we cannot break habits and we cannot form new habits? The answer is yes, we can break habits and we definitely can form new habits. But the fact is that it is not a walk in the park. It is something that we need to be very intentional about. It is something that we need to do consistently. So when you find that you have developed a habit, there are certain things you want to do to break those habits. The first thing is you being aware that you even have those habits. Some of us do things, we react spontaneously to certain situations when we're triggered, but we don't even know, we're not aware that these are habits. So when you're not aware that you have a certain pattern, it's very difficult to break those patterns. So habits are like patterns. They are in fact patterns because this is what you do. So you need to first of all you need to be aware that these patterns exist, right? Once you're aware that okay, this is how I respond, these are the actions I would normally take, and these habits are not serving me, and I want to break this habit, what then do you need to do? You're aware. The next thing is to identify your triggers. So what triggers you? There are some cues you would have which would trigger you, and then you now know what to do. For instance, if you have the habit of getting offended when someone, throws a joke at you or something like that, then you want to ask yourself, what is it about the jokes that makes me get angry, offended? And so when you recognize that, when you see it coming, you can now know what to do. And the step you're going to take is to disrupt the pattern. That's the third step, disruption of pattern. So you need to disrupt that pattern. If you don't disrupt the pattern, then it just keeps repeating itself. So you want to disrupt the pattern of your action. For instance, if you know that when such thing happen, you go on da da da, you're vibrating, you're angry, you're pouring out a lot of stuff. So maybe you just want to pretend as if there is water in your mouth, and you just go, it sounds or looks funny, right? And then you just keep it on, and that also becomes a habit. This is just me telling you. I'm not saying literally do that, but some people say put your tongue in your cheek so it holds you from speaking. But the thing is to find something you want to replace that old habit with. If you leave that place vacant, then of course you will find yourself going back to the same pattern. So, for instance, if you're someone that smokes, you now want to replace your smoking habit with something, and then you need to understand what triggers your need to smoke. So you see some people when they're stressed, you see them, they're puffing away. That helps calm them down, right? Some people take to the bottles when they're anxious, when they have things that they cannot deal with immediately, they hit the bottles, they start drinking. So it's not enough to say, oh, why don't you stop drinking? Oh, why don't you stop smoking? There has to be something else that would replace those old habits. So once you don't have anything in place, of course, it just keeps going on. So we said, become aware of the habits. Two, identify your trigger. What is it, that makes you do that? And then three, disrupt the pattern. So disrupt the pattern by four, what I said, by replacing it with something else. Do not leave it like that. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for you to achieve. Now, let's talk about this specifically in terms of achieving your goals, right? Recall that I said that the key to achieving your goal lies in the smallest, most mundane actions that you take every day. Every day. Now, one of the things I found out over the years is, with the advent of phone, even before that, let's ask ourselves, how were we surviving? For those of us who predated the phone system, the mobile phone system, right? I know that we have some Gen Zs, and all that, who cannot even imagine life without a mobile phone. But yes, we've lived life without having mobile phones. We survived, we did well, but now times have changed. Now, if you find out that the phone, which your phone is a major source of distraction, you set out things you want to achieve for the day, but before you know it, you're awake, and before you know it is noon, and you look around, you haven't even done one thing on your list. You're busy surfing the net, you're on social media, you're responding to emails, and all of those. Now, one of the things you want to do is, having recognized that, you want to replace it. So, if in the morning the first thing you do is to reach out, I used to be like that. So, like, I wake up in the morning I'm not even praying. I haven't even said my prayers. So, as my eyes are just opening, next I'm like, oh, I reach out for my phone. And I want to see who has sent me an email, who has done that. And this happens when you're dealing with diverse teams across different time zones, and you're in a particular time zone. So you want to try to catch up. So one of the things I did was to tell myself, Joy, operate within the time zone you're living in at a particular point in time. So if I'm in Nigeria now, I will try to operate within a Nigerian time zone. If I find myself in the US, I would operate within that time zone. So what this does is it eliminates my first response. My automatic response would be wake up, stretch out to pick the phone. And over the years, I've seen that it works tremendously in such a way that I have built a routine to replace that habit. So, what would a routine look like? You wake up in the morning, the first thing you do, even before you put your feet out of the bed, would be to say your prayers, to meditate. This is if it works for you, right? Before you put your feet out, you say your prayers, you meditate. You want to create an atmosphere of worship, and then perhaps you want to reflect on what you've done the previous day, and to really look at today and the present day, and fix what you want to achieve for the day. Now, can you imagine having such a powerful routine for the next 30 days. I tell you, one of the things it's going to do is going to make you to be more intentional about how you spend time. It's going to make you more intentional as to how you show up every day. You're going to become more intentional as to the goals you want to achieve for the day and your priorities for the day. So when you're very intentional about those little actions you do, reaching out for the phone, going on a call early in the morning and spending the next 1 hour, and all of those, and you begin to cop some of those things and replace them with habits and routines that best support your goals, you will find out that every day you're contributing to achieving the goal you set out for yourself. So goal achievement is not something that happens in one big swap. Whoa, I've achieved my goal. No. It's in those small, small things you do consistently every day. The routine you have built for yourself, the habits that you've already built, these things are what helps you to achieve your goal or distract you from achieving your goal. So I would encourage us to look within you and begin to identify the patterns you operate in. Life is in patterns. So identify the patterns you have currently. What patterns do you have? Now, look at the goals you've set out for yourself and ask yourself this critical question. Can the routine I'm running on currently enable me to achieve the goal I have set out for myself? And one quick example I can think about right now is, for instance, writing a book. When I set out to write a book, I usually do not bring out large chunk of time or block of time to do my writing. Something very simple I know I can give and do other things. I could say I want to write 40 minutes every night before I go to bed. So for the next 30 days, 60 days, I am spending 8:30 p.m. to maybe 9:10 or 9:20 p.m. writing so that I can achieve the goal of what? Completing a book. So it's not until, because it becomes even difficult. I want to bring up 4 hours, especially when you're one that have a lot of things on your hands. When you have a lot of identity. For instance, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a sister, you're an auntie, you're a professional. You have a number of things, or you're a CEO, and then you want to write a book. So you're going to have competing interests. And that's why you need to make sure that you look at the routine that you do every day. Don't ignore those small things you do every day. You wake up in the morning, you are on social media. Before you know it, you spent 1 hour, 2 hours. Can you watch that habit? Can you watch the routine you're building in that area and say, can I cut out 30 minutes from here and see where I can deploy that to? So when we even talk about achieving set goals, routines and habits are so powerful. You can't talk about achieving your goals without looking at your routine and your habits. These are very critical things you want to look at if you want to achieve your goals. This is very powerful. And so when I talk about success not being coincidental, but success being a very intentional process, this is what I'm referring to. There has to be a process in place. There has to be a system that supports what you want to achieve. Now, you also want to build another powerful routine, which is the routine of celebrating your milestones. You may ask, what do I mean by that? Sometimes we spend so much time pursuing success that we do not even understand what it feels like or what it looks like. And sometimes we do not spend time to stop and smell the roses and spat ourselves and say, hey, girl, you're doing so well. You achieve incredible milestones and you just let it go by. It doesn't matter how small it may look, it's something worth celebrating because you've achieved it. Now, what does building a routine of celebrating success do for us? The first thing it does is to build our confidence level. That you say, wow, I did this. Even if you're spending just 20 minutes on the first day writing, right? That is a huge deal. And you need to celebrate yourself. Oh, I've done this. Oh, girl, you have done so well. You could do better. You could do more. And when you make it a routine, what it does is it makes you feel energized. It makes you feel fresh. It makes you feel eager to just roll out the next day. So once you already know what your routine are, you are ready to roll, right? Some people say, okay, I wake up and I pray, I meditate, I go for my exercise, I come back, I put up my to-do list for the month or for the day, and then I spend some time just celebrating myself for waking up. Myself, what does she mean by that? So why do you need to celebrate yourself? Listen, a lot of people went to bed and did not wake up at night. I did not wake up the next morning. So if you think it's something worth celebrating, it's a big deal. The key here is you are the person responsible for determining what you celebrate in your life, and you do not need anyone else to validate it. So once you wake up and decide you want to celebrate yourself this morning for being awake, it is valid. You want to celebrate yourself for writing for 30 minutes, it is valid. So you should be the one setting the tone for your celebration. Don't leave it up to someone else. Don't feel pressured. Oh, you feel this is too little. I will wait till when it's bigger than this, then I can announce it. It's a big deal. I remember today, I think, yeah, it's this morning in my group, our brand manager announced on our WhatsApp group team page, hey, we've reached 60 followers on LinkedIn. And I put a dance emoji and I was so excited. I say, well done, team, we've done it. Some other person might say, what do they mean? They're celebrating 60 followers on LinkedIn. What's that? It's a big deal for us because we started from zero. Now we're 60 followers on LinkedIn. That's a big deal. So don't let anybody take away your sparkle or the shine from your situation or from whatever it is you want to celebrate. You have the power, you have the right to determine what should be celebrated in your life. And so you focus on doing that and make it a routine. Just like I've always encouraged us to make reward system a routine. You can decide how you want. Oh, I want to celebrate by rewarding myself with this. That becomes your routine. I have a reward system and I see that it works. I look at my reward system and I said, I'm going to hit this because I know I've set up a reward for myself that I can only give myself the permission to take once I achieve that goal. So nothing is too small in essence to celebrate. Now, what are we saying tonight? Tonight, we're saying that pay attention to those little tasks that or actions that you do every day. You might think that they don't matter, they matter. They go a long way in helping you meet your target. So they do matter, and take every day seriously. For you to achieve set goals, you need to track your progress, monitor your progress, and be sure that you're taking daily, consistent steps towards those goals. You don't just wake up and achieve your goal, wham, in one swap. No, growth is a process. It takes time. One of the ways, the most consistent ways of building new habits, what I've discussed with us, I said, you want to break an old habit that is not serving you. Identify that habit, you know, understand what the triggers are, give yourself the permission to disrupt the pattern, and then replace it with some other pattern that serves you well. Now once you're able to do this, you would see yourself growing. Growth is very intentional, especially when we talk about business growth and personal development. These are very intentional areas that you need to invest your resources in. Time resources, financial resources, all kinds of resources go into building your brand, your business brand, or you as an individual. And I don't want us to joke with that. So I'm hoping that the conversation tonight would have sparked one or two things with you. And I want to ask you this question. And I want you to write it down. Make note of it and write it down. And you need to respond to it. Be sincere to yourself and provide a response to it. What new habit are you committing to building this month? What new habit are you committing to building this month? Right? And what old habit do you intend to break? What do you want to do and how do you want to do it? Remember, I've talked about how you need to do that. So write it down, get very specific. Remember, we talked about SMART. It applies to almost all spheres of life. Get specific, measure and track your progress, make sure that you can achieve it. So do it in small bits. When you want to achieve change, don't just rush at it, you get overwhelmed. Take it one day at a time. Small bits, small bits. Remember, small actions every day adds to the big picture. So small bits. You take one baby step, one, two baby steps, three baby steps, and you achieve your 1,000 steps of a thousand steps journey, right? So just do it little by little. My hope is that the conversation tonight would have inspired you to do one or two things. And happy, happy new month. And to all the women in my life and to all the women globally, happy International Women's Day and happy International Women's Month. Women rock. We'll keep pushing, we'll keep being resilient. And please think about empowering someone next to you. Be that woman that fixes the crown of another queen. It doesn't diminish your light, it doesn't make you any less. We are more together, right? And that's one of the things I want us to learn in this new month. So, I hope tonight's conversation is one that will push you to new heights and push you to do something new. Okay? So till I see you next week, Friday, stay blessed. Remember to celebrate the women in your life tomorrow. From me and my crew, it's bye for now. Stay blessed and see you next week.